Luminarian Chronicles. Book 1, Portals and Prophecies. Prologue. A thin slice of marbleized crystal lay on the illuminator's austere desk, waiting to be examined in detail. The ancient lines of text etched into the luminescent stone rested well protected inside an impenetrable glass case. Mistwalker Selene Nightshade ran her long, lean finger across the top of the glass and wistfully traced above the lines of the prophetic message, so carefully inscribed in the opaque stone. Although she could not speak the alien language used to record the message, she knew the translation of the passage by heart, and could hear the words clearly now, as if spoken aloud by their original creator.
Seek the small one who speaks with many voices, whose patterns of sound awaken what sleeps. Seek the golden light seer from sands of knowing, whose visions pierce veils that conceal and protect.
These were the few strange, broken lines from a fragment of the crystalline convergence prophecy, the only part of the prophecy known in certainty by the Order, and the only fragment in their possession. And so, it was cherished and protected beyond all measure. As the haunting words rose up into her consciousness, an inexplicable apprehension began to overtake the radiant lady. Disturbing thoughts and restless feelings, vague, shadowy forms of foreboding, taunted her from the edges of her awareness. Was this fragment alluding to the recent events? She pondered gloomily and shifted her severe, straight stance. A most disturbing and devastating future lay ahead if these words described anything other than the Conclave's favored timeline. If there were any chance of risk, she couldn't delay. Her concerns must be conveyed to her esteemed associate, one who would know how to proceed, given this impending possibility. And so, she sat down at her desk, took her pen in hand, and wrote out her somber message. From the office of Selene Nightshade, High Illuminator of the Violet Spectrum. To the Prismatic Councilman, Master Gordian Bludarpa of the Grand Prism.
Master Bludarpa of the Royal Blue Spectrum. It is my great honor to be addressing you in this letter. As I know that you value my opinion, I felt I would be failing in my duties if I did not write to you of my growing concerns. It would seem that the first signs of the portal's arrival are starting to appear. And most unfortunately, I did not notice one of these omens until it was already come and gone. But I feel sure that we may yet be able to adjust the timeline according to our wishes, if we act with expedience. As we have previously agreed, it is imperative that we maintain all rights regarding the manipulation of the portal once it has opened. Therefore, I have marked one of my acolytes to undertake the tasks that lie ahead, which will of course require the utmost obedience to those of us who will exert this control. This illuminator of my choosing will become Keeper of the Portal. And by placing her in such a position, we will ensure that all things pertaining to the portal will remain under our direction. However, the matter that concerns me now is as follows. I have just attended a companion choosing ritual wherein a strange incident occurred. And now, I fear, this incident may prove to become a more pronounced and irreconcilable event than I realized at the time. I shall go on to describe this recent development that could upset our plans and even undo all the preparations we have already laid in place. A prominent acolyte, not one of my choosing, has ascended more quickly than predicted and will soon compete with my chosen candidate for the seat available on the High Illuminators Council. And while my choice for this position will do my bidding without question, I cannot confirm this to be the case with this other candidate, whose details and disposition are unknown to me. But it is not this fact alone that concerns me. During this recent companion-choosing ritual, this new candidate, known to me as Luminai Oracle Arana, declined to choose the most qualified or the most talented from the choices available to her. Instead, she chose the weakest, and perhaps the most inappropriate choice from the entire lot. A small, stuttering flow singer of all things, whose only qualification is his recent promotion to a master artificer. And, as of this writing, no one has been able to discover a reason for such a choice. And so, the question remains, why did she choose this one so unlikely to be her companion? In reviewing the fragment of the prophecy housed within our archives, I have found a possible reference to this odd pairing, the new oracle and her chosen companion, which I have mentioned above. There are lines within the prophecy which refer to a small one, along with a seer of golden light, from the sands of knowing. I shall have to look into this further to determine if there is any great significance to these lines as they might apply to the newcomers. And if so, I will do all in my power to intercept this surprising development, as we must proceed according to our schedule if we are to succeed in our efforts to gain control of the portal when it appears. I feel that if we are able to locate the additional fragments of the prophecy, this possible misinterpretation will be straightened out, and once again, all will align with our present plans. As always, I do seek your counsel, and I felt that I had no choice but to inform you of this development immediately. I pray by those great dark beings who have merged with our purpose that you will receive this message in time to process the possible meanings associated with such an event. And also that you will be able to take action where it might be needed in order to preserve the establishment of our preferred timeline. I leave you with this information in all due respect and will eagerly await your enlightened reply. Master Selene Nightshade, High Illuminator of the Grand Prism.
Master Bludapa looked down at the ominous letter in his thick hands. A broken violet seal, pages crumpled from his anxious grasp, and formidable words. Yes, this news was concerning, that was true. And yet, having just received this notification of the worrisome event, he wasn't sure as to how he should proceed. He was not one to take rash action. He folded the letter and tucked it into his breastcloak pocket, well hidden from prying eyes. This required time for contemplation, time to decide on the best actions to endorse. For the time being, and wanting to preserve his own power and respected station within the elite conclave, he vowed to support Master Selene in her decisions. His weighty reinforcement of whatever the Radiant Lady chose to do would serve to ensure the establishment of the timeline favored by their fellow conclave members and by the Void Eclipsers themselves, a powerful new breed of overseers arriving soon to overthrow the light forces that currently presided over their domain. Having been granted access to privileged and confidential information, he now understood the eventual and unfortunate fate in store for Luminaria. It was clear that unholy changes would soon descend on the land and its people. No matter how gruesome the outcomes might be, it seemed inevitable that these ruthless Dark Lords, the Void Eclipsers, would ultimately achieve complete control over Luminaria, as they had done so many times before through their vicious methods of destruction and horrendous colonization procedures. Many a realm had already fallen to their knees, bending in suffering and servitude to their implacable dominion. And as he had witnessed dark battles of this nature before, he knew it was best, in the name of self-preservation, to align himself with the coming victors. And so, with the troubling news well concealed in both mind and matter, he straightened himself and exited through the heavy, ornate door of his private quarters. Trudging down a number of hallways with bothersome assistants beckoning for his attention as they walked, he arrived at yet another elaborate doorway. He stood stern, and with his usual unwavering attitude of stoic resolution, he swept into the chambers of the Grand Prism Council, where he would solemnly preside as the most respected, most unwavering, and most trustworthy of all the High Elders in the Prismatic Order for the duration of this ill-fated dark moon cycle.